So I wanted to make this video with my wife to try to explain some things. So first of all, the officer lied, as I've been saying, and this started well before August 7th, 2022, but I'm not going to focus on that. What I am going to focus on is a little bit about the narrative and then and some more stuff. So basically, I told the officer that me and my wife had an argument at the park about 2 minutes earlier. The officer didn't see her, and then I ran home. And then when I got home, he asked me, the officer came to my house asking me why I ran. I answered his question, and then he wanted to know what we were arguing about. His camera was off at this point. I told him it was none of his business. Long story short, he attacked me and then fabricated this response about being dispatched, which is 100% false.
Because first, when he was asking, when Brian told him he was looking for me, he said, "Have a good night," and Brian left the park.
Brian, you have a safe day, okay? If you need anything else, give us a call, all right?
And he didn't attack Brian until he was at our house. Okay.
And so, basically, what it really was, he was not dispatched. I've already proven he wasn't dispatched. There's the lawyer said it. The records show there were no calls that night, and that's that. And so they were determined to make these charges stick. And really, what I think it was he didn't like that I told him no because he was a cop. To be honest, my wife thinks the same thing, and they concocted this story. And so moving on to some more stuff. So basically, while this is going on, I actually reached out to the mayor of Elon. I reached out and was telling her I was needing some help, and was waiting for a response to ask for the body-worn camera. She didn't respond. Nobody responded. And so then I hired Don Dickerson, and this was during the first trial. Don Dickerson, I thought he would be a good fit, but turns out he wasn't. So I had been asking for the evidence. I've been asking for him to get the call logs and everything that I'm telling you now. He refused to do it. We wouldn't even be going through this in the first place had the information that we required been searched. So he probably told me that I was innocent. The officer wasn't dispatched. After I found the evidence that proved that he was, even though I had been asking for it for the...
You're right. I don't believe he was dispatched.
So
I still don't believe he was dispatched.
So
I believe that the officer screwed up.
And you know, we've been dealing with this. So the assault happened. The assault and arrest happened on the 7th of August. I didn't actually go to court until I think it was April or March of 2023 for the first trial. Now, while it was going on, like not the trial, but like pending, I was reaching out. I reached out to the town, reached out to the town manager, Ben Baxley, and others. And they never called me back. And so I emailed. And then later on, when I went to court for one of the hearings before the actual trial, I was told by the DA that if I reached out to the town, that I would that they would take charges out on me for harassment. And prior to that, I had been reaching out to try to get help, and I'd posted a YouTube video, and then my lawyer told me to take it down. And none of what he said made sense to me. But again, I trusted him because he was a lawyer, and this is what we're told to do. And so, yes, I didn't look for the body-worn camera footage because I trusted my lawyer. I thought that he knew I thought that he knew, what he was doing. And so I didn't, but I started to get weary, and towards the end, I did started seeking help. And I got the internal documents in 2025 that revealed more than what I thought. That basically they were actually conspiring to conceal this. And so, what do you want to say about this, Carrie?
About that part?
Yeah, about Don Dickerson and me being threatened.
Oh yeah, and he didn't really have anything to say. He's like, well, this is what they said, and he couldn't really help for it. It was really frustrating.
The lawyer was acting like he didn't know what he was doing, and for a while I'm like, it didn't seem like he's doing his job. So when I went to court, the officer admitted that he didn't have a legal reason to detain me when he put his hands on me, but the Judge Champion didn't care about that. Judge Champion has since left and has become
Lawyer.
He's a supervisor for the public defender's office.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I filed complaints, by the way, against Judge Champion, but since he wasn't a judge anymore, they wouldn't do anything. But to be honest with you, I filed complaints against all of these people. The bar wouldn't do anything. Now with the appeal, I filed an appeal, and then I fired the lawyer because he wasn't doing his job. John Cox was probably the worst thing that I could have done. John Cox is Facebook friends with the Gibsonville police chief. But John Cox refused to properly defend me. Even when the state brought in witnesses they knew were lying, because John Cox had been to my home. He'd seen the video evidence, and he'd seen the report. John Cox had told me some lies too, now that I think about it. But basically, they lied. They had lied to me. So the DA in the first trial was Katie Bernick or Katie Brock. The DA in the second trial was Mary Williams. But I think Mary Williams was still doing a lot of the texting and emailing and the emails. So this wasn't a simple I waited 5 years. I waited all this time. Like I said, I reached out immediately, and then the trial itself, the court process took about 3 years. So we had the appeal, which took about a year and a half.
It was continued
It was continued multiple times. So we had the district trial, which took about a year and a half, and then the appeal, which took about another year and a half. And so by the time it ended, and it ended in November something 2024, I pled to an obstruction charge, and the reason I did was because Jeff Reese and his family were brought in to lie on behalf of the officers. And you remember that when Jeff Reese lied? You remember some of the things that he said?
Yep, I do. Yeah.
And so we had social service called on us because of that. He lied. He 100% lied. And then this is why it was banned from the town. I know that video is floating around. I went and I called them out.
My name is Brian Turner. My address is 604 Wood Street, and that's Gibsonville. Not really a question, but it's a concern. May I speak? So going back to August 7, 2022, I was assaulted and harassed by the Gibsonville police. I contacted Ben Baxley. I contacted this guy right here. I contacted Rebecca Dixon. Ben actually threatened me with harassment charges instead of anybody looking into what had happened. Right here, I have footage of the witness that the Gibsonville police got to lie for the police, saying I assaulted the officer. I have the footage of the witness talking to an officer outside my house. I've been dealing with this for 2.5 years. I've been reaching out to y'all. Ben Baxley went out of his way to try to silence me. All of y'all have. I've reached out to you, hung up on me. You as well, Ms. Finelli. You have. You, Brian, Chris, and you, Tansley Mitchell. All of y'all had a duty to the people. I've done nothing wrong. And for 2 years, I've been seeking help, justice for what happened to me. And every one of y'all have ignored me. I didn't contact you, sir, but every one of these people I have. You especially had the DA threatened with harassment charges instead of doing his job. So my question is, what are y'all going to do about it? Because I have footage of everything. I have evidence, everything that I'm showing. And I've been posting it online for 2 years. 2 years. My daughter has PTSD because the officer went up to her and put a gun in her face. He was called out to my house because of lying neighbors claiming my wife and I were arguing, which we weren't even home at the time. We've been doing this for 2 years. For 2 years, and all y'all put this pretend image to be caring people. You, Brian, Chris, I love black people. I'm a quarter black. That's the reason why the police was called on me, because Clarence Owens' family had been using the police to harass me. For 2 years, prior to this stuff happened, I complained. I filed a complaint with Brian Chris about Clarence Owens doing stuff, but the stuff my daughter says, about the other stuff. He said he would look after and then ignored me. All of y'all did the same thing. Privately, you guys have ignored me and my family. I lost everything. I went from thriving. I moved here 5 years ago, and it was the best day of my life. But then after what happened to me, it's been terrible. And instead of addressing it, you sit there and you pretend like it doesn't exist. All of your aldermen, Paul Dean specifically hung up on me. You guys are all supposed to be members of the public, looking out and you're looking as if you don't know what I'm talking about. I have evidence for everything. Well, as far as in the DA threatening me, you guys have a duty to the public. You publicly pretend to care about people with these things and the wars and stuff, but meanwhile, privately, you let stuff like this go on. I went and filed complaints. And then, all of y'all have ignored me. Mr. Parrish, all of y'all. And so my question is, what are you guys going to do? Are you guys going to keep ignoring me and hope this thing goes away, or are you going to take action? Because I'm an innocent person. I didn't do anything wrong. I did nothing wrong. I was on my property, minding my business when I was attacked. And then they blocked me on Facebook. I have proof of that, which is unconstitutional.
Okay.
Is anybody going to say anything? Is this recorded?
It's recorded.
So is anybody going to address that, or are y'all not going to do anything? That's why I came to show up.
I'm not.
Y'all not going to do anything about that, and you're not going to ask for the evidence or anything?
We have staff to take care of issues like this,
I reported it, and no one's done anything.
and they'll handle it,
I've been reporting it for 2.5 years.
and they'll take care of it.
So, in other words, just for everybody watching, they do not care.
Your 3 minutes are about up.
I'm done now. Take care.
Thank you. Board members have any more questions, concerns? This meeting is adjourned.
Your failure to abide by this directive will result in your arrest and prosecution of the criminal trespass among any other crimes which may be committed. Please abide by this directive in order to avoid any unnecessary arrest and prosecution of you.
So in 2025, I sued him. I sued him for lying, for not necessarily giving false testimony, but giving a false police report, because he claimed that he called, even though it's already been proven that he didn't call. So clearly, like, he's lying. And I sued him in district court. Ended up suing him around January, but I filed the paperwork in 2024, and then basically the judge, the magistrate David Crabb refused to hear anything I had to say or the evidence. As a matter of fact, he was meeting with Mary Williams, the DA, before court, and this was the band hat. I went and I called out the Gibsonville, and this is what led to the ban. And so these videos with me reaching out to people. The one video when I insulted Terry Johnson because he blocked me on the Alamance County Facebook page, sheriff's page, when I was posting trying to get help.
And protected. You are.
I am not.
Y'all have I've seen it online.
Your problem is here, and you need to go back to Gibsonville.
When Jeff Reese and his family were harassing me, and the Gibsonville police acknowledged that he was harassing me but wouldn't charge them, I reached out to the sheriff's department. Remember that, Carrie? Mm-hmm. And I would like somebody criminally charged because this is BS. Go ahead.
What can the Alamance County Sheriff's Office do for you?
You can charge them.
No, we can't. They're in the jurisdiction of the Gibsonville Police Department. We can't make charges on something that Gibsonville has already investigated. They are the only ones. Well, I take it back. They would have to make the charges. Now, if you have a complaint, it sounds like you do, and I've looked through the call history. This seems to be pretty extensive over the last couple of years.
Yes.
Back in August, I know you talked to a Sergeant Pierce with the Sheriff's Office, and also you had talked to him, it says in May.
Yeah.
In May, it's documented that he told you the same thing I'm getting ready to tell you. If you have an issue with the Gibsonville Police Department and the way they are doing business in the city of Gibsonville, you would have to take that up with the State Bureau of Investigation. And
probably at least 30 times within the last maybe 6 months, and I've never gotten a call back. So I don't like Terry Johnson for that reason. Elon police, again, like I've been trying to get evidence for a while. I didn't want to correct the lady.
Was, I don't know, several years after this happened, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think you were dealing with...
It's many people involved. And and you haven't heard about it because I was threatened. As I said, I was threatened. But everybody's aware. And I tried to educate people on what happened. This is why I've been persistent. Privately, I filed many complaints. Public for a little bit, and then stopped being public because again I was being threatened.
Yeah.
And so this just wasn't me. I decided just to come back 4 years later. And what I'm saying is there's a couple types of people. There's the people that blindly follow the police no matter what they say. They make excuses for the behavior. And so I could literally post a video showing way worse stuff than what I posted. An officer shooting somebody in the back, and then there would still be somebody to justify the officer's behavior. And then there's the other person that can't believe it because they've never gone through it. And I got to be honest with you, my wife and I used to be those people. We thought we couldn't imagine how corrupt the government was until we went through it ourselves.
Yeah, we would watch videos and be like, oh, that person must have been doing something wrong, or it was their fault that they were in the situation to be involved with cops, but that's not always the case. That's not how it goes. And by the way, so the neighbors that used to live beside us, they called the police on us a couple of times. Clarence Owens is from the town of Gibsonville. He has many ties, and people that are from here know this. That's where the harassment started, after they discovered that I was biracial, is my opinion. And so that's basically it. Everything goes back to people in this family not liking me and then using their positions to have the police harass me, and then it escalated. And now that the officer messed up, they're leaving us alone. One last thing. So they were calling the police on us for arguing. After the police stuff, after August 7th, they didn't call the police on us again. No.
The new neighbors that we have that bought this house, and they've been here about 7, 8 months, haven't called the police. As a matter of fact, they say that we're good neighbors.
Yeah, we get along with her very well.
We never had an issue with anybody.
The other neighbors are my best friends.
My friends too.
Well, yeah.
We never had an issue with anybody, and until the police stuff. As a matter of fact, the only people we have an issue really with now is the government.